I love this. I love this. Xavier Mafetu, welcome back to another episode. This is your boy Xxtractz, and we are on Coffee Session episode 12. This is one heck of a special episode because a lot of things are going to be changing from now onwards. So this is going to be the new setup of the Coffee Session. Yeah, just want to put value back to the community that has been following me. I appreciate you guys. Want to give you guys premium content. I'm trying by all means to improve the video quality every time I take a video, but blah blah blah. I don't want to be talking too much about that. Anyways, we are talking about AI today, and in the recent news about AI, I have unsubscribed from Claude, and I didn't unsubscribe because of the code leak, because I've been on the journey of trying out different AI models. So far, the ones that I've tried for coding is GitHub Spark. I think I tried it the minute it was released. And the second one was Codex. Also, Codex, 2 weeks after it was released, I think I subscribed. And right now I'm playing with Claude, but I've unsubscribed. So I think I've about how many days? I think 7, if not 10 days left from my unsubscription, from my subscription. So why talk about AI now? It's because I don't want to I don't want to come to you guys uninformed. But in the recent years, what I was doing, not in the recent years, in the recent days, what I was doing my own research in terms of AI, I came across this terminology which is quite fantastic. It's called AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. When you have time, just read on that. For those that know, guys, I'm sorry, I was late to the party, so I was not invited. But anyways, I want to get straight to it. There's a couple of questions that I posed, and I'll be answering in this session. And one of them is what people actually think, or what people think is happening versus what's actually happening. Right now, I'm coming in from a South African context, not an international context. Because one of the reasons why I'm coming from a South African context is because this content is not limited to South Africans, but anyone in the world. However, the reason why I'm stating that is because in South Africa, we don't have much tech companies who are big on this, conversation on AI. So everyone is on the consumer level, not on the producer level. Don't know if I'm making sense. Most of the companies are consuming the AI, not producing. So basically, your models, I haven't heard of a South African company that is producing a model so far. If there is one, please leave a comment down below. We can check it out, and if we have to donate, we can also donate. But I hope it won't be the code copied from the Claude leak. But anyways, guys, I just want to paint the narrative and change the perspective of some of the people. I know that most of us have been following, for the past 2 years, most of us have been following what AI is, what AI can do, the level of intelligence it has, the way it can generate data or information quicker than a human being, all of these things, learning about MCP servers. It's quite a lot. It's a lot of things. But what we want to do, or what we're going to be doing in this episode, we're going to be breaking down stuff to the simplest and also reassure some of my South Africans that your jobs are still safe for now. Why? Because we are on the consumer side, not the producer side. However, even though we are on the producer side, on the consumer side, things might take a quick or a sharp turn. Those edge cases that we hardly think about, the edge cases that we hardly see before we go into production. Treat it like that. I'm saying don't be naive. Just expect anything to change. Because that's the reality of it. That's the new reality, actually, for lack of a better word. So everybody has been talking about AI coming for software developers and going to take their jobs. One fascinating thing that I've learned about AGI is that for AGI to learn fast, it needs developers. And we are the major contributors of the data that it's learning or it's feeding from. Again, I don't want to get into that rabbit hole. But if someone, is deep into this thing, you can leave a link to your video down below and then we can just go and view it and we can learn more about it. But again, I just want to say that AI is not going to replace developers anytime soon. That's my number one point. I jige eine strivelo forward we go. So another thing is that there's a lot of, tech influencers who are not developers. Some are just guys that learned HTML and started vibe coding and they assume that they know everything about tech. And the mere fact that people that are experienced are not coming to say anything, they we have that they have that platform to feed people whatever narrative they want to feed. So some of them are saying learn AI or become irrelevant. What I'm saying is that don't be naive to not learn AI because at some point you might become irrelevant. So I agree to a certain point with them, but I want us to not run away from what a developer is. When you think of a developer, I think of myself. When I wake up Monday morning, going to the office, probably the first thing I do is I go through the logs in the server and I check if there's anything that I could fix, any bug fixes that I didn't see. I wait for probably a call from support saying, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is broken. There's a production issue. I go through, spec. I read spec. And also, I read a lot of legacy code. Some of it which doesn't have documentation. And when you think about all of these things that most of us are doing, we are maintaining a lot of legacy code, adding new features and new functionalities to legacy code. And yes, AI has the capability to generate code quick. And someone can say, no, but that's just context. Yes, it's context. But remember, if we don't understand what AGI is, then you would understand that context has limit. So I'm not fully informed of AGI as yet. Otherwise, I would just give you guys a brief explanation what AGI is. But from a high level perspective, it's an artificial general intelligence, meaning that they want to create a computer that will be smart enough like a person, but be amplified. I don't know if that makes sense. So what does a human do? What can a human do? And like how a human think, be unpredictable. Those kind of things, right? So once you get into that rabbit hole, you start understanding that, those guys are fetching something, fetching a monster. But I don't want to have that conversation because, I will go off track with what I want to actually, crash out of this conversation. And the most important one is that our jobs are still safe. That's all I can say for now. Our jobs are still safe. And we just need to be mindful that people would say anything for views. I could also say anything for views. So I'm not, I'm not immune to that, if you know what I mean. I have my own flaws as a human being. But anyways, let me just get into what AI can do and what AI can't do. So for example, AI can build boilerplate and scaffolding quicker. Like your basic crude operations, your building APIs can be do it in a split second. It can do a lot of, what we call clean code, where we write code that we reuse, You can do a lot of repetitive code patterns, all of that. Yeah, it can do that quicker than a human being. It can write unit tests, like beautiful unit test. It can do code explanation. One of the things about being a dev, sometimes we struggle to explain code to someone who's probably new or someone who's a junior. So we always refer them to either Stack Overflow or the documentation that we know doesn't exist. It's good, or it's quick with prototyping. If you want to do a POC, or just basic MVP project, you can vibe code one. Documentation, it does a splendid job. Like it reads the code and documents it, and it helps you fix something quicker than you going to Stack Overflow. How do I fix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? If I have a specific stack trace, I just throw it in there. It failed to initialize, a bean. You throw it in there, you put it in there, and then it gives you all the data quicker than you would if you were to go to Stack Overflow, skim through all or scan through all the questions and figure out which one is the right one. But that's in terms of operations. It's good when it comes to that. Like, it's very good, guys. Like, I've used it, and it feels like a slot machine also. Like, once you try out all these models, you start seeing that, damn, this feels like a slot machine. Those that have gambled know that, hey, this one works. So you keep on trying, keep on trying, keep on trying, and it keeps on feeding you, good data, and it makes you feel like, oh, this is very smart, this is very smart, this is very smart. But let us go to the part where we, the human beings, are good at what AI can't do. And this is where everything matters the most. Number one, it doesn't understand your business better than you. It doesn't know why your company made a specific architectural design, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 3 years ago. But or someone knows, or there's a small amount of documentation there, but we know that, right? It can't debug complex production issue across 10 microservices or 4 or 3 microservices that is undocumented. But you know that, and you can do that. You sitting there at 11 p.m. reading through the logs. This is me, guys, on a day-to-day. I'm going through logs, scanning through logs. Hey, I'm seeing this weird behavior. Why is that thing null, You start seeing that, you start questioning. Why is that now? And then you go back to what actually caused the issue. Someone decided to pass a string null value and someone didn't check it. Long story short, it caused an issue. So those are the things that you can do that AI can't do. You can think further than it can. You are able to pinpoint something that might be broken, not because you understand the system better, but because you're a human being and you are able to think further than just, you are a critical thinker. You are a technical thinker also. Guys, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Then it can't know what your product manager, says. Like, when they tell you, make this thing work, you're like, I can't make it work, but there's an alternative. AI, it will do its funny thing. That's where hallucination comes in. You are able to read in between the lines. Like, you can be able to dissect what your PM is trying to say and make it understandable in your own context and be able to work and fix and be able to take that one project or that one feature into production. AI can't do that, right? It doesn't know all of these things. It doesn't handle human beings. Even if the PM can explain something so good, remember, between you and the PM understands the feature or has an idea of the feature. You have a better understanding of the code base. Again, it goes back to the conversation about context. But in the conversation about context, when the PM is explaining to you some of this stuff, or the product manager or product owner is explaining all these things, you start realizing that, oh, okay, this can't be done because this was done and in this way at a specific period of time. And we had to use this route because of so many reasons. AI can't do that. So basically, that's what they're trying to achieve with AGI. But that's a conversation for another day. AI can't push back. So some of us have seen AI hallucinating because at some point it could not say no, it doesn't understand. It will always find something to generate, even if it's wrong or even if it's irrelevant. So that's something that we know that we can do. Good developers say no, but they say no with a reason why that can work. That's also something that AI can do. I mean, I'm an advocate here for you guys, right? It can't sit in meetings and read the room. You know that moment when you're in a meeting and you can hear what people are mad here, they're crazy. And then you read the room and you're like, hey, okay. You decide, this is where your technical team lead gets to decide whether something has to follow process or not follow process. AI can't do that, right? It cannot communicate, you know, a technical thing to a non-technical thing. Someone can say again, context. But remember, right now, this person is having a conversation with you in a meeting. They're not having a conversation with an AI. These are the things that you want to think about. So overall, these are the stuff, guys, that AI can do that can make you an effective programmer or effective developer. And that's not a coincidence, you know? So the more junior your work is, the honest truth is, the more replaceable you are most likely to be by AI. But, but you just need to change how you think. You need to change how you approach, problem solving. You need to change how you approach, how you solve on the spot, how you just think out of the blue and have a solution for something. I've heard so many times that junior developers can be replaced by AI. That's partially true, right? But that affects the sequence of the next generation of developers. Because if we replace the upcoming generation of developers, when some of us are old here and, our time has arrived, who will be there to maintain some of this code? Because you can't maintain code that you don't understand. I was once a developer. Most of you who might be watching this were once junior developers. So you know that at some point you don't know anything before you know something. So these are the conversations that make you think beyond just AI. So cool. Moving on to another point. Who should worry and who shouldn't? I'm gonna be blunt and honest. So if your job entirely is what I explained in the beginning, what AI can do, you'll see flames. You'll see flames because if you're writing boilerplate code with no business context, AI does that faster than you. If you're a guy that copy paste code without understanding AI and can't explain it, AI will do much better, cleaner stuff, much better, cleaner code than you, and even add comments, write the correct, use the correct variable name, write method, the correct method name, all of those things. AI can do that, right? And people that think that I can code is their value proposition, like, then the budget's got high. Remember, guys, anybody can code. I remember one guy said he's gonna become the best programmer the world has ever seen. A lot of people can code. As soon as a person can write print hello world, to them it's like, okay, now I can write a piece of code. But there's more that goes into coding. There's more that goes into programming. There's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of, writing an algorithm. As long as you understand what you want to achieve, then you have nothing to worry. But also, let us also be honest that as much as I've been learning or I've been using some of these AI tools, I've learned to understand where I stand in terms of who's better, what's better. In terms of performance-wise, there are those things that AI isn't good at the moment, but as soon as it's good, you'll see flames. You'll definitely see flames. And anyone who refuses to learn some of these AI tools because of pride, then there's something that you're going to be afraid of, because the market doesn't care about your feelings. Again, remember, we are on the consumer side, not the producer side. What do I mean we are on the consumer side? We are consuming this product. Every company wants to build an app quicker. If there's a developer or a software engineer who works 100 times faster than he was a year ago because now he has AI on his hands, imagine how many jobs he'll take away from people that just write boilerplate code. That's the honest truth. There's no need to sugarcoat that. Okay, cool. So now let's talk about the people that are safe. So these are developers that understand a business problem, developers who can debug and do an architect and also made those difficult decisions. Anyone who's an AI, who uses AI and becomes a multiplier, they talk about the multiplier effect. So, excuse me. Developers with domain expertise, like you understand what your business does, like you good to go. And lastly, seniors and tech leads. The reason why these people are safe is because they are doing something that AI can't do. It's basically the opposite of what I was actually talking about earlier. And then last but not least, this is the last part, guys. So for some of you guys, this is actually good news if you play it right. Let me just give an example. There's a regular Joe who is a consultant and goes and consults at a specific business. They probably charge maybe 350 per hour. And man, and the tool or Claude at the moment is costs about 300 and something rand per month. They have the advantage of using the tool to make them do stuff quicker, especially when they break down into smaller bits, smaller segments. So that person can easily increase their rate based on their performance. Because, with consulting, they always check, guys, if you are performing, they renew your contract. That guy in 6 months can simply renew his contract and change, increase the bar. For some people, they can work multiple jobs. That's also another perspective. So it's not only one negative. It's a 50-50. It depends whose side you want to play on. And already, for example, if you are working remotely and you're working for an international company, you don't have to, you can use your personal laptop to use the AI to build something quicker. For example, if you want to generate certain boilerplate code, that can be done in 10 seconds. You can build 10 APIs within 30 minutes. And the only thing that you have to do is to add in your business logic. Something that would take regular developers 2 years or 3 years ago, maybe 3 weeks, without test cases, without documentation. Now you have AI that can do that with documentation and everything. That is the honest truth. It's something that if we don't talk about, some people are already using that as an opportunity. The strategists. I think one one key takeaway from the whole conversation is that if you are a tech expert, you just understand programming, you're good with the skills, and you understand how to prompt engineer. And then your English is proper because obviously, if you can articulate yourself very well, you can articulate the problem that you're trying to solve. AI can fix maybe 70% of your problem, and you can simply plug in that last 30%. So, last but not least, if you don't adopt, or if you don't adapt, then you're competing with global devs that probably are using AI and will probably charge more. Remember, underpaid. Yeah. Meaning companies want AI skills and you miss out on that opportunity because you don't want to use it. Especially companies that are on the consumer end. And obviously with the remote work, closing after the COVID, right now you need to just prove yourself that this is what you're able to do. And some of the developers that are currently working remotely have that opportunity to showcase their skills, and they're good to go, man. They're probably living their best life right now. So, anyways, guys, I've just charged most of your time, and even my camera was overheating at some point. Um, Thank you for tuning in to today's video. What I want to say to every one of us is that we need to start using these AI tools in our personal space. It doesn't have to be work. The reason why I'm saying in our personal space is come the day they introduce it in our workspace, you're already equipped. I don't know if that makes sense. You're equipped to use the tools. So you're not gonna get left behind. You know, look, the faster you learn, the better. Like stop thinking that AI is here to replace you. AI is here to be your companion. I know right now I sound like a typical tech guy who's yeah, but anyways, I know that die-hard coders, people that still love to code, people that still love to write code from end to finish, from start to finish. And I'm still one of those guys that wanna write the whole thing and feel like, oh, bruh, I just built this whole thing by myself without the help of AI. That makes me feel so good. We can do that in our own personal capacity and in our own personal space. And when it comes to the business side or our employer side, remember our employer wants productivity. They want an end result. They don't care how you get to the end result, but they want a product that's fully functional. And yeah, like, but anyways, guys, I'm not here to sell you AI. I'm not here to influence AI. I'm a developer just like any of you guys. I write code every day. I sit in meetings Monday to Friday. I deal with the same I don't want to say similar things that you guys deal with. This is coming from a dev, not someone who wanna be a dev or started being a vibe coder. And I'm telling you from a position that I'm in, not because of my status on Twitter or LinkedIn, but this is my actual work. I'm coming from my desk. My whole setup is here. Like this is after this thingy, after this shooting, I am gonna be debunking some few stuff. And it's something that's burning, right? And all I can say is that AI is not coming for your job, but developers who use AI might come for your job. I'm not saying AI is coming for your job, but the guys that are using AI are definitely coming for your job because they are 10 times faster than they were before they started using AI. So the question isn't whether AI will replace you, but it's whether you will learn to use it before it becomes a requirement in every job in the next coming future, or in every interview they'll ask you, what AI tool have you used in the past 12 months? And if you haven't used any, scratch. And based on what I'm seeing now, the day is closer than you think. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not scaring anybody again. I'm not scaring anybody. But anyways, if this hits different, guys, share it with the developer who needs to hear it. Um, Drop your honest comment below. If I spoke trash, you're more than welcome to tell me that, hey, Baba, you talk nonsense. Share down below on the comment section what kind of tools you're using so that a junior dev who just left varsity or a boot camp can start learning how to use some of these tools. And also, it's good at explaining code better, and so that they can start focusing on the thinking part of how you're going to solve a problem. I know, guys, we love writing code, but at the end of the day, we just need to adapt. The same way we had to adapt that there was something called data scientists, and they're here. They are also part of the problem. But hey, guys, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. But yeah, anyways, thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Leave a comment down below on the comment section. Click like, subscribe. See you on the next one. If you enjoy the setup and if you want me to put more energy, you're more than welcome. If you want to collab, hit me up. Follow me on my socials.